What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing great. I am awesome. I just finally got the reins of the Raven Lord after 470 tries. So I'm pretty excited about that, to be honest. And I'm also pretty tired. It's been a rough couple of days of me doing a lot of stuff, actually. But hey, that's not why you're here. Let's talk some gold making. So at the beginning of my gold making, and even to this day, I really follow a set of guidelines really that I've set up for myself in order to make my gold making more structured, and in order not to waste all my gold on other stuff like restocking or buying mounts or, well, toys or whatever like that. And for this video, I'm gonna go over those guidelines with you guys and how I implemented those guidelines into my own gold making. So sit back, relax, grab a pen and paper if you need it. Otherwise, you can always come back and watch the video again. This could also help you a lot if you're going for that long boy before it gets removed. And I also have a bonus tip in the end. So basically 6 points, I suppose. Anyway, let's get on with the video. My guideline number 1, consistency. So the first rule of gold making is what I like to call consistency. From my perspective and how I see it, unless you're extremely lucky, gold won't come from a single drop of transmog or a BOE drop in raid, and that gold is somehow always fleeting. But when you make your own gold, that gold is usually working towards a greater cause or a greater purpose, like something that you're saving up to. For an example of the longboard, I usually see that drop as an extra icing on the cake or something similar along those lines, but I'm not really dependent on that gold, and I don't count on it. However, I am dependent on my gold from my gold making empire and still working towards those special purposes with that gold. What I really mean by consistency is that you need to do the grind. If you find something that works for you and your server, make sure to do it every single day. You do not want to miss an opportunity for gold making and something that is going really well, like reposting your auctions every day, like restocking every day, cancel scanning every day, being consistent. Usually that's when the results start to come in. Let's take it outside of gold making and outside of World of Warcraft. Let's go to the life in general. You won't get good at anything unless you are consistent with what you're doing. You think Ronaldo got good at kicking ball instantly? No, he was being consistent with his exercising and with his training. Same deals go with gold making, really. Now, I'm not telling you that you will be the Ronaldo of gold making, but the same principle applies. You won't get good at something unless you are consistent with what you're doing. But let's get to number 2, dedication or discipline. This kind of goes into the first point, and it still doesn't. That's why this is actually a separate point. What do I mean by dedication? Well, a lot of things can really go into this rule or guideline, really, but what I mean is that you'll need to get out of your way or out of your comfort zone to become a gold maker or save up your gold. If it's raw gold farming, if it's farming for herbs and ores, or relog into the same character day after day and do stuff really fast, if it's leveling up new characters in order to utilize more professions, that is what I mean by this point. You'll need to do things that isn't always extremely fun in order to reach a greater goal. For an example, if the auction house does not have a quantity of a certain item that I want, I usually get a character and go out and farm it. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but I really don't like farming. Another thing that I want to talk about is actually motivation. That kind of goes into this point. It won't always be fun making gold. You won't be 100% motivated every time, but it's still something that needs to be done in order to reach your goal. For an example, when you're used to getting 1.5 million on a weekly basis and that mailbox dropped down to 500,000, barely covering your weekly expenses, and you still need to do that. At that point, well, my motivation isn't at the highest, but I still do it. I know they will turn around. Maybe next week, maybe the week after. It's unsure, but it will turn around. But what if it doesn't? Well, then I need to find some new markets to explore and work my current ones from a different angle. I should clarify, like, I don't mean that you should drop everything you have, but sometimes you need to make a choice. Are you going to do your M plus today, or are you going to do your goal making today? And that is what I mean about dedication. Guideline number 3, patience. Everybody hates being patient. Even I don't like being patient. However, with goal making, making consistent gold is a lot about being patient. For the first few weeks, you most likely won't see that many sales, and that is a fact. But as you get more professions, as you expand the farms you do, as you start to diversifying and move into different types of markets, get more auctions up on the auction house, the more sales you will most likely see. Like, I can't stress the importance of keeping enough items up on the auction house. If you don't got any items up on the auction house, how are you supposed to sell them and make gold? More items up on the auction house, good items up on the auction house, more likely it is that you will get a big and good sales of it. As I said earlier in this video, you will not instantly get millions in your mailbox. That's pretty much a fact. But also ask yourself a question: how much do you want in your mailbox, and how will you get there? And working there slowly and steadily. Usually if you want to get into gold making and build up your auction house, you might need to look at it as a marathon, really. I wouldn't recommend like sprinting for the long boy. You might get yourself burnout, and yeah, burnout in World of Warcraft is a real thing. This also might contradict the last point I mentioned about dedication and discipline, but if you need to take a break, do take a break. It's not worth if you're running yourself into burnout. Like, so take it slow, and being patient is usually a good way to go. Every gold maker has taken the time, chipping away at it slowly, one step at a time. And keep in mind that good mailboxes with good chunks of gold does not happen over one night. It takes time to build up your gold making. But hey, let's get into the next one so the video doesn't get too long. Number 4, expanding. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Expanding your markets and not relying on all of your income in the same market, but instead being in several different kinds of market. The way that an auction house is built is that it's enough that one person with enough stock comes around that can completely fuck up a market. And that's also an auction house move that you can do if you have the knowledge and the gold to do moves like that. But that is more like advanced auction house plays that I really won't get into. Also, sometimes market just crash with no really deliberately crashing it. It just happens when a lot of people are posting. So what are you going to do when your market you're in is crashing? The items you're crafting are not profitable anymore. Like, I don't want to be in a position where I can't get any sales of because my market crashed. That's why I expanded my markets from enchanting and tailoring to alchemy and inscription and other markets as well. In order to be in more markets, that way I can always keep getting profits from sales even if a market crashed for me, because I can get them from other types of markets. I would recommend the same for you guys getting into gold making to actually do the same. Keep expanding. The worst thing that happens is that you lose some gold, but then like, knowledge is power. Also, don't underestimate and scuff aside a profession or a market instantly. I did that with cooking, and in the end it did end up cost me a lot of gold. Don't do mistakes that I did. And that also brings me to the next point of my guidelines. Number 5, knowing your market or markets. Look, I know this point is really old, and I know a lot of people has actually been talking about it, but it's still valid. Like, in my opinion, it would be kind of irresponsible of me not to actually bring it up. So yeah, knowing your market is really important in my opinion. And why is that? Well, obviously you want to know if a craft is profitable or not. By the way, there are add-ons to help you with that. If you're flipping items, then is the price higher than normal or lower than normal? What is the average price of the items you're posting? How much will that yield a profit? How can you get more profit? When should you be posting and when should you not be posting your items? When is the price lower of your materials? If you're farming materials, when you should be posting them to get the most out of your farm? All these questions and many more will come into play if you really get into market and start investing your time into them. Like, I know this might be a lot to take in, but most of these questions will actually start answering themselves when you are observing a market and getting to know the materials or the items of the market. I recommend taking like a week and checking daily on the items that you want to sell. It's really easy setting up a shopping scan in your TSM an add-on I recommend, by the way, and I would recommend checking up a guide on it if you don't know. Or you can simply do it in the default auction UIs with your favorite button. It's really easy. There is the star right there, and it goes under your favorites. Number 6, my bonus tip: have fun. Most important rule of them all: make sure to always have fun. It is so important. I cannot stress this enough. Don't do stuff that you don't think is fun to do. I've taken this guideline to heart, really. For an example, I don't really like farming at all, so I try my best not to do it. And make sure that the gold making you're doing is fun. It's a game. It's supposed to be fun, and we're supposed to have fun and enjoy ourselves. Don't forget that. Alright, so that was all the 6 of the tips or guidelines that I use in my gold making. And that wasn't too hard now, was it? Thanks everybody for watching the video of this casual gold makers guidelines. If any of these guidelines helped you out and if you got some new information, please feel free to hit that thumbs up. You're obviously allowed to do that either way, and it helps out the channel a lot. Comment if something didn't make any sense, or if you have any questions, or if you want me to elaborate on something or do a video on something else. Hit that subscribe button. I will post more of this kind of content that can help you out in gold making. Don't forget to follow me on social media platforms. Links are in the description down below. I stream on Twitch as well. Feel free to jump into our channel with our great community, and thanks for everybody for helping me out with this video. A big shout out to them. Their names should be popping up on the screen. Thank you for everybody who's helped me out, and I will see you folks around. Have a good time. Bye.